and welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you so dearly for always supporting us. I really do appreciate. If today the first time you are coming across this wonderful family or you are seeing my face for the first time, I still remain Agatha Progress, bringing it to you back to back. Remember, we react to all videos and all opinion is highly needed. So just sit back and watch this video and I will be right back.
Okay, we are live now.
Oh, this is live?
Yes.
Oh, okay, it's going to be live.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so everybody is watching me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So now you can now introduce yourself.
How are you? So what do you want Umuchukwu writers?
Yes.
I greet you. What do you want me to talk about?
Yes, we want you to introduce yourself first of all.
What is it?
We want you to introduce yourself first of all.
Introduce yourself first.
Well, everybody pretty much knows me by now, so introduction is no longer necessary. But for those of them who are seeing me for the first time, my name is Aloy Ijmako. I'm the Special Counsel to the Indigenous People of Biafra and Nnamdi Kanu. I'm proudly so.
Okay, sir. Regarding the court case today of Nnamdi Kanu, we would like you to
Talk about it
and tell us what you think about the hearing, both from the judge side to the counsel side.
Okay. Well, I understand. It's a very important topic to talk about, but I will digress a little. I beg your indulgence to talk about a developing story, something that happened yesterday. There was an affidavit filed by the Attorney General of Kenya on the 10th of February before the Kenyan High Court, before which Nnamdi Kanu had brought a legal action over this extraordinary rendition. So finally, we have the government of Kenya through an affidavit drawn up and filed by the Attorney General of Kenya, stating clearly, without any equivocation, that there was no record of departure of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya from when he entered Kenya last on the 12th of May last year. So this is the clearest confirmation yet, beyond media razzmatazz. This is now inside the record of the court of Kenya, that the Kenyan government is on record with such significant denial. So you can say that Nigeria has finally been thrown under the bus by Kenya. This denial, whether true or not, makes the case of extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu much stronger than it was before. That's number one. Number two, it has created a panoply of possible criminal violations that will ensue on grounds of the anti-torture legislation of Nigeria and the United Nations Convention Against Torture, and of course laws of Kenya. So right now you're looking at a situation where criminal indictments may lie against those people that participated directly or indirectly in the abduction, unlawful imprisonment, disappearance, torture, and the ultimate rendition of Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. So while we were hitherto, while we were previously talking about extraordinary rendition as a barrier to his prosecution in the Abuja criminal matter that is pending, we're now talking about a situation where you have very serious crimes committed within the domestic laws of Kenya, domestic laws of Nigeria. Like I mentioned before, Nigeria has a law prohibiting torture, and within the canons of international law. So these criminal proceedings will have to be activated. We are lawyers, so we are going to pursue this to the hilt. We are trained to pursue the path of justice. So within Kenyan national jurisdiction and Nigerian national jurisdiction and the international arena, you can expect that there's going to be a levying of sort of myriad criminal indictments to follow what happened. It was a very terrible thing. Someone entered, and we have it on good authority. Kenyan immigration records still indicate that Nnamdi Kanu is still in Kenya. If you recall, sometime in July, late July to early August, I authored an article. The title was that Nnamdi Kanu is still technically in Kenya. So as of 10th February, through this affidavit drawn up by the Attorney General of Kenya, that has just been confirmed. So I'm using this opportunity because I'm sure somewhere along the line the British authorities will stumble on this information. So it opens a new vista of diplomatic interventions by Britain that has the right, based on the nationality, British nationality of Nnamdi Kanu. Britain now has a clearer right to demand of the Kenyan government what happened to Her Majesty's subject, Her Majesty's citizen who entered your country on 12th May 2021. But then suddenly found himself in Nigeria. I think a lot of questions will have to be answered here diplomatically and criminally. That is a very, very important development in the case. It makes the countervailing motions that have been brought before the Abuja High Court stronger. Of course, it adds a little bit of muscle to the recent judgment of the Abia State High Court. And I'm happy to know today, even though that I was excluded from inside the court. That is another story for another day. But I'm happy to have learned from social media early enough, where I was cooling off outside, that the lead counsel, the Learned Silk, Michael Sokome, raised the issue of extraordinary rendition as a barrier to the continued or further prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu. Anybody will recall that I raised this issue as of early July last year. The only regret I have, quite honestly, is that this issue was not raised as of July. It was ripe as of July. It's being raised late in the day, but it's okay. The end justifies the means. It has been raised, it has been raised. And that was what I meant at the time when I said there is going to be trial within trial. So before the federal government can get to actually putting Nnamdi Kanu up for trial, they have to cross that barrier. Telling the court that Nnamdi Kanu was intercepted is not enough. Interception is unknown to law as a mode of bringing a foreign fugitive suspect, or a fugitive suspect found in a foreign country, to the country of supposed or purported jurisdiction. There is nothing like interception known to either international law or municipal law. What is known to international law is extradition. So the application that was moved today by Michael Sokome, pivoting on rendition, has opened the door for the federal government to come in and explain to this court how they managed to bring Nnamdi Kanu before the court. That barrier, that bridge, has to be crossed before any trial, any proper trial can ensue. Thank you.
All right, sir. With the current development coming from Kenya, do you think that the Kenyan government have escaped the consequences of the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, at least they are denying it on record. The court case in Kenya is making its way through the system, but it's a constitutional action, it's a civil action. But this very affidavit, this latest affidavit, has opened a new avenue for a new action that is going to be grounded on criminal violations. So if Nigeria went rogue, went into Kenya and violated the territorial integrity of Kenya, it's for Kenya to say clearly that that's what happened. But you see, it beats the imagination. It's quite unbelievable, incredible that one nation will go to another with a private jet, take someone and exit the international airport of that nation without any let or hindrance. That is very hard to believe. But the whole truth, I think, will only be unraveled if some kind of criminal investigation is open. The details of that, I cannot get into the details on camera.
Okay, sir. Towards the next upcoming case of Nnamdi Kanu, do you think there is anything we can, your legal team can do within these dates that the final ruling will be heard? Do you think there's any other application that should be filed in the courts on this criminal? Yes.
Well, anyway, you see, we are always going back to the drawing board. Every new development leads to a rethinking of the strategies for defending him before the arbitral court. You raise a very important point that will come into consideration. But I think the next point of action for us is to see how his bail is going to be reinstated and a new bail approved for him by the court. We believe that he's qualified for bail right now, that we have a consideration, a determination by a court of competent jurisdiction, but that what happened in 2017 that brought him or compelled him not to attend court in 2017 was not his fault, but the fault of the federal government. So it used to be that Nnamdi Kanu was the bad guy, he jumped bail. But right now, with the pronouncement of the Abia High Court, it is the federal government that is the bad guy. They are the ones that made him to jump bail. So I don't think any court should allow them to benefit from their own wrongdoing. That would be inequitable. That's our position. And that, I think, can ground an application to consider him for bail on liberal conditions.
Okay, sir. Let's go back to the Umuahia High Court ruling. Our people are meant to ask you, have federal government remitted the 1 billion naira that was awarded?
Well, anyway, first of all, the federal government has not appealed the ruling. A lot of people were wondering if I have received any notice of appeal. I'm seizing this opportunity to say that I haven't. I don't mind. The federal government has the right to appeal. I hope they won't, because it's a very good judgment. Well, we don't have the 1 billion yet. If we had the 1 billion, it's a very hefty sum of money. I think everybody will pretty much know about it without asking me about it. But that 1 billion is not really the issue. The issue is to clear Mazi's name, to clear Onyendu's name. It wasn't a question of money. There's no amount of money that can ever qualify. As a matter of fact, I regard the other two pronouncements by the judged as more valuable than the 1 billion. The other one that required the federal government to apologize to him and publish the apology in national dailies. And the other one that recommended to the federal government to pursue the path of peaceful political solution to this matter of self-determination for Biafrans. It's not a matter for tough law enforcement. It's not a matter for arrest, prosecution, rendition. That's what the court seems to be saying. That is far more important than the 1 billion naira. Nothing can ever compensate for the emotional trauma, psychological and physical damages that were brought upon this family and upon Mazi and his parents and the 28 people who lost their lives on that ill-fated day or ill-fated period of between 10 September to 14 September 2017. No amount of money can ever recompense or compensate or remedy the terrible situation that was created. I think the victory will lie in the federal government having a full policy somersault and telling itself, we have been wrong all along. What we need to do in this situation is to call everybody to the table and seek political solutions to this. That IPOB and members of IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are not criminals, but people who are genuinely agitated about the injustices in the system, which can only be addressed through dialogue, not tough law enforcement tactics.
Okay, so knowing fully well that millions of Biafrans hope on IPOB legacy, which you are part of, what are the encouraging words you would tell them at this point in time?
Well, what I can tell you is this. Listen, I came into the picture in late 2017. I was called upon to represent IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was missing after the September 17, 2017 attack. I had contact with his family members and they brought me into play. So I want people to understand that from that late 2017 to now, I have 2 victories under my belt. There was a victory I won at the continental level. I'm not going to the details, couldn't do the details of that victory because we are forbidden to do so through a certain article. That decision is a continental decision and it's not supposed to be discussed in detail. That's one victory. And there's a lot of assurance in that very decision that affects backwards, adversely, the declaration in Nigeria that IPOB is a terrorist group and the proscription and everything that has happened to members of IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since August 2015 was condemned by that decision. If that decision was implemented, as we expected to be later, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would not be in detention right now. A lot of IPOB members wouldn't have been in detention. Those that died wouldn't have died. So I'm seizing this opportunity to call on the federal government. You are aware of the decision. A letter was written. The Attorney General is aware. The President is aware. The Foreign Minister is aware. I'm calling on you people to implement that decision because Nigeria is a treaty member of the continental body, the international body that took this decision. It's very roguish, very irresponsible for a nation, any nation that signed a treaty, not to consider itself not bound by the letters and spirit of that treaty simply because a decision has been taken that that nation is in breach or violation of provisions of that treaty. It's very irresponsible. And I'm not mincing words in saying it. So Nigeria needs to exhibit or demonstrate responsibility of a state by implementing that decision that was taken internationally. That is one victory that I got, and I'm very proud of it. And I think members of IPOB need to be comforted that an international body listened to their cry and the gavel fell in their favor, that they won. Then the second one under my belt and under your belt, I dedicate everything to the members of IPOB, to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is the Abia decision of 19th January. That's the second victory. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did something wrong in 2017, why would a competent court turn around and say, no, he didn't do anything wrong? That is the federal government that did something wrong. So you have to think about that at individual levels, at your individual levels as members of IPOB. Of course, I will encourage you to be law-abiding. But what the system seems to be saying, the domestic court here, that domestic decision from Abia State and the one from the international tribunal appear to be saying is that self-determination is not a crime. That is what it's saying, pure and simple. Because if Nnamdi Kanu was engaged in a criminal enterprise, the Abia High Court would not have agreed with the proposition that the federal government's and controlled armed forces went to his house to terminate his life, to borrow the language of the court. So while I encourage members of IPOB to be law-abiding, I would not, as a lawyer in good conscience, encourage any member of IPOB, or in fact any Nigerian, to deny himself his fundamental human rights. You have a right to protest. You have the right to disagree with your government. You have the right to demand better governance. You have the right to hold the political opinion of self-determination. Self-determination is a political opinion. And Chapter 4 of the Nigerian Constitution protects political opinion. So I'm not going to be here to tell anybody to be a wimp and cowardly about his rights. As a lawyer, I will encourage you to be law-abiding, but don't sleep over your rights. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure.
You can see that nobody can take the place of God as far as this issue is concerned. They have no case against him, and he has committed no crime. So the best thing for the federal government to do is to release him. Release him and let him go. It's not too hard to ask. By April, it will be almost 9 months. Let me say it's 10 months, a year already that you guys hold this man without no trial, without nothing. I hopefully, that April 8th, the music is going to change. All right, my wonderful family, that brings us to the end of this wonderful update. This is one of the legal team of His Excellency Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you for always supporting us. I really do appreciate. Do what to like this video, share and subscribe if you haven't. I still remain Agatha Progress, bringing it to you direct. See you when I see you. For me, to you, I say bye.